I knew the moment she stepped through the door, something had shifted. Her movements were stiffer, her eyes didn't search for mine like they used to. Just a week ago, I was married to the woman I believed was the love of my life. The honeymoon phase hadn't even had the chance to fade, yet here we were, staring down the ruins of what I thought would be forever. It started with a family trip, as her parents called it. One last getaway before real adulthood begins, they had insisted. I didn't like the timing, newlyweds should be focused on each other, but I didn't want to sour the early days of our marriage by arguing over her family. So I smiled, nodded, and helped pack her bags. Now she stood in our living room, a stranger cloaked in familiarity. Her voice was hollow when she finally spoke. "We need to talk." I set my glass down gently, the ice clinking like a slow funeral bell. "Go ahead." She hesitated. "I think we should take a break." I let out a slow breath, fingers tapping the armrest, not out of shock but acceptance. I had seen this coming. Without a word, I opened the drawer of my desk, pulled out a thick manila folder, and slid it across the table to her. "That's interesting," I said, my voice low, "because I just received some information about that family trip of yours." Her brow furrowed as she opened it, and then her eyes widened. "Receipts. Hotel bookings. 2 names, hers and another man's. Photographs. Bank transactions. There was no family. Just her and a man she thought I didn't know about. But I did. I knew everything." Her hands trembled as she flipped through the pages. Guilt and fear clashed on her face, but then something darker emerged, rage. Not at what she'd done. At being caught. I looked at her for a long time. I had loved Claire, at least the version of her I believed in. We had been together for 4 years. Built a life. Shared secrets. Made promises under moonlight. I trusted her, and for the longest time, I ignored every red flag. Her parents had always been too present. Too opinionated. They masked control with politeness and manipulation with parental concern. From the start, they made it clear they didn't think I measured up. I chalked it up to overprotectiveness, the usual in-law drama. I was wrong. There had been signs. The way conversations would end abruptly when I walked into a room. The way her mother praised other men, slipping in comparisons laced with disappointment. And the way Claire always said they just need time. So I gave them time. And they used it to stage a betrayal. When Claire left for that trip, something felt off. The way she lingered in the doorway but wouldn't meet my eyes. The awkward silence that had grown between her and me like a secret neither of us wanted to name. After she left, I began digging. I had contacts, people who owed me favors, people who knew how to find things. Within days, I had the truth in my hands. It was worse than I could have imagined. Claire hadn't just met someone. Her parents had arranged it. A wealthy businessman, someone with influence, someone they believed was a more appropriate match for their daughter. For months they had been grooming her. Planting doubts. Whispering poison in her ear. The trip wasn't just a vacation, it was a test. A test she failed. And now, as she stared at the evidence of her own betrayal, I saw her fall apart. Not from shame. From the crumbling of a plan that hadn't gone unnoticed. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I simply sat there watching the truth do what words never could. I had been blind, but only for a while. They thought I would crumble, that I'd fall apart quietly and fade into the background while they rewrote the story. They underestimated me. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. Because emotion, when used too soon, is a wasted weapon. I chose patience. Precision. I set the stage like a strategist, not a victim. While they were busy plotting behind closed doors, I gathered everything. Bank statements detailing the quiet transfers, private messages they never thought would surface, a voice recording of her mother, cold and calculated, telling Claire to just give it a try, with the man they handpicked for her. It wasn't love they wanted for their daughter. It was status. And they thought I was in the way. So I invited them to dinner. Not just them, an audience. A few of their trusted friends, key business partners, people who carried weight in their carefully curated world. I called it a chance to talk things through, a family discussion to smooth out misunderstandings. They walked in smug, convinced they had already won. That Claire had been successfully guided toward her upgrade, that I'd be too humiliated to fight back. They didn't see it coming. As we sat around the table, I watched Claire's fingers tighten around the folder I slid toward her. She opened it, eyes darting over the documents, growing more pale with each page. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I leaned back in my chair, swirling the amber liquid in my glass. "Evidence," I said coolly. "Would you like me to summarize it for the room?" Her father's jaw clenched. Her mother, Ever the performer tried to play her part. "This is absurd," she said, lips twitching into a fragile smile. "No," I replied, my voice sharp as glass. "What's absurd is orchestrating an affair for your daughter because you decided her husband wasn't good enough." The room froze. Silence fell like a guillotine. Claire's breath caught as she flipped to the final page. A legal document, cold and final. Divorce papers. She looked at me, face cracking with disbelief, shame, and something else. Desperation. "You're done," I said, my voice flat and emotionless. "You made your choice the moment you walked into that hotel room with him." Her father slammed his fist on the table. "You're making a mistake." I turned toward him slowly, a smile tugging at the corner of my lips. "Am I?" "Because that same evidence, it's already made its way to a few of your top investors." Then I looked at Claire. "And your boyfriend?" His wife wasn't exactly thrilled when she found out. "In fact, she's taking everything." Her mother gasped, the horror settling into her features like a mask cracking under pressure. "You ruined us." I stood, buttoning my suit jacket with deliberate calm. "No," I said, glancing around the stunned room, "you ruined yourselves. I just made sure everyone had front row seats." By the next morning it was over. Claire's parents lost everything. Investors vanished, contracts evaporated, their reputation disintegrated under the weight of betrayal and scandal. The empire they built on appearances crumbled to dust. Her lover? Stripped of wealth and family, thanks to a very efficient divorce lawyer. "And Claire?" She called. Messaged. Cried. Pleaded for a chance to explain. I never responded. Because the thing about betrayal is that once you see someone's true face, no apology can make you forget it. No tear can rebuild what they destroyed with lies. I didn't look back. I didn't feel regret. Only the quiet, steady satisfaction of walking away while they stood frozen in the ruins they created. Ruins they never believed would be theirs. And now they'll never recover. Not really. They never saw it coming. And they never will.